Hi, so today is about mirror, mirror on the wall. Um, Whatever that means to you, I'm hoping that after today you might have a different meaning for that. So obviously anything that you have, any people, any coworkers, any family, any loved ones, anything like that, that you do not like something, it is mirroring a part of you that you don't like, which also means that if there is something that you do like, it is mirroring a part of you that actually exists within you. Now, whether you can see it or not, whether you believe it or not, that is actually part of you. So that's the bonus to it. When this happens, we get to step into that. And when we lean into that, like we typically look at these things as problems, the way our husband's showing up, the way our spouse, our friend, our family member, our children, whatever it is. And we typically look at it like, this is a problem they need to change. Well, true, maybe they do, but what it actually is an opportunity for you to see something that you can shift in you to then create or design the reality and the results that you like. So anytime that you don't like something, it's super, super, super important to just put the mirror up and go deep at what that is for you. Now, several different things can happen. That person can shift just by you shifting you and the way that they treat you. That person can just disappear and no longer be in your life because it's not a good fit. That person, that event, that thing, whatever it is, right? And all of these things have bigger plans in mind, bigger, I'm losing my words, bigger purpose in mind, right? So whenever you're going through these different things, I'll use my son as an example. He mirrors a lot of things to me that it's like, oh, wow, I need to take a look at that because that is exactly his perception of how I see things. And that's another thing we can shift when we're looking in the mirror is our perception on the situation, on whatever it is, because that perception that we currently have based on how that person looked on you, what that person said, how it made you feel, what it meant, what road it took you down could be a perception that no longer serves you. So when you go in, you shift your perspective, your perception on it. You look at what no longer serves you. Like if somebody is a know-it-all, what part of you is a know-it-all? If somebody is rude, what part of you is rude? If somebody is telling you that you're needy and you're not doing anything that's needy, that still could be part of you. It could just be part of you that you don't see, and it's all energy. So what happens is everybody and everyone around us is reacting to our energy, whether it's the words we say, the things we do, or the stuff that we don't say or do is still stuck in our energy field. And all of that being stuck in our energy field is keeping us from actually having what we desire. So when you can go and look at that and you can be like, all right, so what is this person mirroring to me that I don't like about them? Or perhaps they're mirroring something to you that you absolutely love. And when you love it, then I encourage you to like lean into that and really take credit for the fact that it exists within you. Because if you weren't aware that that existed, you wouldn't love it. So ironically, the things we love and hate about everything all exist within us. And when we shift our perception on what we love and hate and get to either a neutral ground or have a new perception or stop trying to change others to teach others how to be or what you think, they need to do to be better, and just shift yourself and your own energy. Everything starts either disappearing because it no longer serves you, or starts showing up differently. So when everything starts showing up differently, that's when you're creating your reality. Because anytime there's something you don't like, you can go in, shift the unconscious energy, which is typically programs created or perceptions or beliefs around a certain word, feeling, thought, emotion that has happened in our past that just gets recreated. And so when that gets recreated, it isn't necessarily serving us to bring up the same energy. And so I'll go into relationships a little bit here. Lots of times, the type of relationship you have is usually quite similar to what your parents had, and because that's where you learned it. Or maybe you learned that you don't want that, so you're doing everything you can not to create that, but ultimately your unconscious energy is what creates your reality. And so all of these different things start happening around us when we're battling like you're going to be tired of consciously battling the unconscious to get what you want. So it's so much simpler just to shift the perception on an energetic level, because that's what's sitting there, that's what's creating your reality. When we shift it on an energetic level, that is when you take your power back, you start creating what you desire, and that is when all these things that we consider problems or negative show up, and we can actually turn them into a positive, because it's like, oh, I don't really like that. All right, so what can I shift so that I don't have any more of that stuff I don't like? Ooh, I love that. I love that. I love that. What can I do to like own that shit and bring more in of what I love? And ultimately, that's just the cycle, and that's how it goes. And every time something new comes in or someone new comes in, there's different things that come up for us on an energetic level, because we have like a 2 million-year-old brain, and we just keep moving through it and shifting our perceptions, our programs, our beliefs, and connecting to aligning ultimately with oneness and your soul and your purpose. And that's when the closer and closer you get, which to me, it feels neutral. To me, it just feels neutral. It like ultimately, it just feels like nothingness, right? So that's why I always say, let's get you to neutral, because anytime that you are either positive or negative on something, obviously positive is better than negative, right? So we typically look at the negative, but when you take the negatives, turn them into neutral or a positive, then it is just so freeing. It's a way of ultimately detaching from a healthy way of detaching from the outcome.